Hey everyone, I'm Harnish, and this is my demo video for the Week 1 update at Lovable shipped. I've been working on Git Compass for the last week. It's an AI powered tool that turns scary code bases into navigable maps. I'll be breaking this video down into three components. The first is going to be the problem. Second is what the solution is, what my vision is for this app, and what I've worked on so far. And the third component is going to be my next steps. So, talking about the problem, we've all been there. If you're a developer, you've been introduced to a new repository, whether it's an open source project or at work, you've been shifted to a new role, and that team maintains a different repository. So, you come in on day one and you see all these complicated files and tons of files in their code base with thousands of lines of code, and you have no idea where to start. I mean, you have the README file, but that's not enough to understand what's going on actually behind the scenes. So that's where my solution comes in. Git Compass can show you the demo. So Git Compass basically So you'd give Git Compass a repository, and this is how the output would look. You can see some basic information like the Git URL, when it was created, what types of languages were detected. You can also see the total files, the lines of code, and all of the basic analytics. And it will also show you what the static analysis for the code base came out to be. I'm not going to dive into a lot of detail, but I want to introduce you guys to the cool features, which is if you go to the architecture map, we can we can see the whole architecture of the code base. This is for the demo purpose. I have used the VS Code repository. So it would basically show where the data is being accessed and then how all the different components of the code work. You can choose filter out for UI, critical, what modules of the code the AI determines are critical. Bases this analysis of based on the git commit, number of times a file has been changed, when it was last created, etc. So it will actually tell you what sort of files are critical versus what files are safe to work on in a repository. So this is a overview system architecture. It will also tell you how the data is flowing throughout the repository or the application. For example, here the data comes in from the keyboard or mouse. It then goes to the renderer, um, and then goes to the command handler, and so forth. Another cool part is also the code base map, where you can check out all the different files under all the different folders available. You can see how these files are related to each other. So, for example, app.js references a lot of multiple files across the code base, and you can filter things for engineering. For example, for engineering hotspots, the red components have had over 100 commits, and so on. There are different insights that you can look into as well, number of lines, etc. And then this is the most important feature. So whenever you onboard into a new repository, you would want to know what files are critical versus what files are safe for you to explore. And this part tells you that, okay, these files are safe because so and so, because they are well tested, because they are rarely modified. And based off of that analysis, it will tell you what are some good first issues for a newbie, for a newcomer on this repository. So it would analyze the critical and safe zones and tell you about the good first issues. Another cool feature is the learning paths. So if you want to learn any backend or front end, like how the front end works on this repository, it will automatically create guided learning paths for you, which you can just hit play and it will walk you through the different components. And last but not least, if we're working with developers, we would want them to have visibility on the code, which is why I think this feature would eventually turn into a different VS Code extension where it can go through the files and tell you how critical they are, what parts of the code are linked to what other parts of the code, etc. And you also obviously have the AI assistant where you can ask it all sorts of questions, and it knows how the repository is working, so it'll be able to hand, answer your questions, just like that. And these are just some extra resources that are already present for onboarding by that team. Okay, so now coming on to the last part of the video, what are my next steps? Well, you can see I have a huge array of features over here and I'm actively improving the backend. The backend is not connected to the UI yet and I need to work on connecting the backend to the UI, improving how the AI agents actually work. And the most important part, I have already posted this interactive demo on my waitlist landing page. So users, people can actually go in here, click through them, and I have also enabled some feedback loop. So if a user is in a section for some time, it will ask them for a feedback, and they can say, "Oh, this would really save me hours," or "It's just a nice to have, but I wouldn't pay for this." So based on off of user feedback and talking to people who sign up for my waitlist, I would see what features they think are really important, and based on that, I would work on sort of my next steps. But yeah, waitlist landing page is live, and this is what I worked on as well in the last week. Some sample testimonials, and you can enter your email. Well, this has been awesome. Thanks a lot for sitting through my long demo. There are a lot of things that are unclear right now, and we're just in week one, so it would be amazing to see where this goes when we're at the final point at week six. Thanks a lot.